harmonizing. We will all harmonize. Lovely. Kath, we could come up and do the reading for us. It's Matthew chapter 6, from verse 1 to 23. Matthew chapter 6, verse 1 to 23.
Take heed that you do not your charitable deeds before men to be seen by them. Otherwise, you have no reward from your Father in heaven. Therefore, when you do a charitable deed, do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory from men. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a charitable deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, that your charitable deed may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will himself reward you openly. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the corner of the streets, that they may be seen by men. Surely I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you pray, go into your room, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. And when you pray, do not use vain repetitions as the heathens do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows the things you have need of before you ask him. In this manner, therefore, pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Moreover, when you fast, do not be like the hypocrites with a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces that they may appear to men to be fasting. Assuredly I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness?
Probably the longest reading that we have in the Beautiful Attitudes, as Billy Graham calls them. Quite challenging words. They don't leave much room to manoeuvre, does it? When we've gone through chapter 5, chapter 6 again follows. In fact, it goes even deeper. It's that verse in Hebrews that says the word of God is, if you want to pull a chair out of it so you're not going to leave, it saves you picking your neck and everything. It's all right, don't worry. Jean's got the secret to it. She pulled the chair right out there. The word of God is quick and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, and is able to divide asunder the bones from the marrow, the soul from the spirit. It really goes deep. And the further we go into this sermon that the Lord gave up on a mountain to his disciples, the deeper the words can go. We'll have a little look at some of the things, but it's been really encouraging going through it. It's an area that I've avoided preaching on. I'll be upfront with you. I've avoided preaching on over the years. I've always thought it's too difficult to preach. And through a series of circumstances, felt that it was right to look at these words. I've read them. I don't mean I've never read them, but the preach them is different again, because it calls for some other things to be seen. But oh, the bliss of them that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Oh, the bliss of them that hunger and thirst after righteousness. This word righteousness, it can be termed justice, it can be termed righteousness, it can be termed justification. And that's the word that we read of in the epistles when it's translated into various forms. But righteousness is the one that comes through here. And it's righteousness that Jesus speaks about through chapters 5, 6, and 7. Except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven. What does it mean? In the meaning that it has in former days, it meant conformity to a higher authority. It's a lovely way of putting it, isn't it? Conformity to a higher authority, in this case God. Conformity to God. To his person, to his character, to his law, conform. Not with a sense of, oh, I better have to, but with a sense of devotion. And so generally it was meant that a man would do his duty to his gods, plural, in the sense of the Greek word relating to Greek culture, and also do his duty to man as well. So this word righteousness has an awful lot going in it. And you'll find its traces in chapters 5, 6, and 7. It's also written in a certain way. I'm not one that I have to rely on what people who can read Greek and understand Greek or Hebrew or whatever. I have to rely on them. But one in particular, a chap by the name of William Barclay, comes up with a thought regarding this term, hungering and thirsting. That it's written in a certain way. That normally, if you were to go to a table, a supper table, and there you'd see a loaf of bread, and there you see a jug of water, you would say, I have some of the loaf, and I have some of the water. You wouldn't normally say, I'll have all the loaf, and I'll have all the water. One, because it's wrong in that regard, and two, especially because other people there sat at the table with him, but two, our hungering and our thirsting really gets to the place where we're going to eat everything and drink everything. But here, when it's talking of hungering and thirsting, it means if a loaf is presented, you'll have all the loaf. If a jug or pitcher of water is presented, you'll have all the water. What he's saying is this: oh, the bliss of those that have everything that righteousness is. Oh, the bliss of those that hunger and thirst for this, that want all of it, that are in their hook, line, and sinker. And so that's where it comes from in regard to this. One, the word, what it means, conformity to God, love for God and man, a selfless, unswerving, and unwearied service. And this hungering and thirsting is for all of righteousness. For all of righteousness. Having said that, chapter 5, if you notice in chapter 5, it says there in verse 16, let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And chapter 5 is that we are to cause the light of God that's in us to shine, that men may see it. We've looked at over the last 3 weeks our purity. We've looked at our chastity. We've looked at our fidelity. That was last week, wasn't it? Loyalty, faithfulness. We looked also at charity. Those things are to be clearly seen. Those things, exactly as when Moses said, Lord, show me your glory, and the Lord proclaimed, showed himself, and proclaim what his character was like, so that Moses, when he saw, when he heard, when he felt, did nothing but make haste and bowed his head to the floor. He bowed and worshipped before the Lord. So it would seem that we also are to be clear in our purity, clear in our chastity, clear in our fidelity, clear in our charity. But in chapter 6, our piety is not to be seen. In chapter 5, it's all that we are in public. But in chapter 6, verses 1 to 23, is about all that we are in private. In chapter 5, he challenges the people with what the scribes and Pharisees both said and did. In chapter 6, he challenges the people about what the scribes and Pharisees, not what they said and did, but why they said and did them. He is challenging motive. Why do you do what you do? And that's why this chapter is going deeper. It's not concerning itself with what comes out, although that's a good telltale sign. And it's not concerning itself in what these do, although that's a good sign. It is dealing with why. What is your motive for being what you are, for doing what you do, and for saying what you say? It's quite a challenging one. It's a great danger here that I could flatten the whole of the service. It's a great danger, because it can make us look so inward. But we have to be challenged by the Spirit of God as to our motives. The whys of Martin Lewis. The whys of Penyrheol Assembly. And so Jesus here is not challenging what the Pharisees were doing in the sense of saying and doing. He is challenging them. Why are you doing what you are doing? What is the ulterior motive? And he looks at three particular areas. For rabbis, for scribes, for Pharisees, there were three important areas: giving, praying, and fasting. Those were the three areas that he was challenging them on. If you remember when he spoke about that men ought always to pray, he gave the parable of the publican and the Pharisee. And the Pharisee fulfilled these three things. He turned and it says this concerning the Pharisee, that he stood praying. And in his words as he stood praying, he said these things: I fast twice a week, and I give tithes of all I possess. You see, under the law, there was only one fast. Or under the law, there was only one fast that people were corporately to be included in, and that was the Day of Atonement. They were to fast on that day, the day when their sins would be dealt with for the year. And they were to declare themselves and fast and take certain actions in regard to that. There was no other requirement under the law. That did not mean that people did not fast. It's quite clear that people fasted, and in the New Testament, it's quite clear that people fast. In fact, when Jesus says, not a case of if you fast, it's when you fast, and when you pray, and when you give. It's not a case of if, it's a case of when. So we find with this, that there's giving, and praying, and fasting. And he's challenging the motives of their giving. He's challenging the motives of their praying, and he's challenging the motives of their fasting. In verses 1 to 4, he deals with giving. In your authorized version, and I think also in the New King James Version, it says alms. Surprisingly, what do you think that word means? Righteousness. When you do righteousness, if you've got a New King James Version, you'll see if you've got an index in the middle there, it can be translated into righteousness. It's the same word as blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness. Exactly the same word. So, when it says in chapter 1, take heed that you do not do your charitable deeds, your righteousnesses before men, to be seen by them, otherwise you have no reward from your Father in heaven. Therefore, when you do a righteousness, do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory from men. Assuredly I say to you, they have the reward. When you do your righteousnesses, don't be like the scribes and Pharisees who sound a trumpet. The word is traced back. If you hear this, stop causing a wave. And that's what it was about. They were making a wave of the circumstance that they were in. They were showing off in their giving. It wasn't done privately, it was paraded. That they might be or receive glory from men. That was the motive for it. It was not concerning itself with the need itself. It was concerning how people around would respond to his giving. And it would seem that their heart was seeking for the glory of men. And in praying, they loved to stand praying in the synagogues and on the street corners. And Jesus turned and said to them and said this: they were doing it that they might pray, that they might be seen of men. So they were seeking the glory of men in their giving. They were seeking to be seen of men in their praying. And then in verses 16 to 18 concerning fastings, they fast that they may appear to men to fast. The motive for it was this: I want to receive something from you. Applaud it. The only reward that he could have would be to have the reward of men, not the reward of God. And so in their giving, in their praying, and in their fasting, Jesus was checking them that they might have the right motives. For the Pharisees were doing it to be seen by men, to receive glory from men, and to be appreciated by men. Now it's something they struggled with when Jesus spoke to them. In John 5, he said this to them: how can you believe if you receive honor one from another, and do not seek the honor that comes from God? Whatever. How can you believe when all you're seeking for are the plaudits of men, the honor of men, the esteem of men, when you have no concern for the honor of God? It talks of a group of Pharisees that were believers. In John chapter 12, it goes on to say that these kept their testimony silent, quiet. And then it gives this little runner with it then. For they loved the praises of men more than the praises of God. We find in the description of true Jewry in Romans chapter 2, it said, look, to be a true worshipper of God, in the sense of being a Jew, it has nothing to do with the outside. Circumcision is not of the flesh, but of the heart, of the Spirit. And then he goes on to say this: whose praise is not from men, but from God. What is the motive that drives us on? Why are we here this morning? Now I realize there's a danger that we could get quite complex in this. I realize that at all, fully. But we have to ask questions. Why are we doing what we do? Why are we saying what we're saying? Why are we what we are? What's the motive? And so Jesus turns and says to them, he says, you need to have the right motive. Paul sums it up again with food, with eating and with drinking. He says this in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Whether you eat or whether you drink, whatever you do to the glory of God. And that is the heart of what a Christian is. What he or she does, they do all to the glory of God. Let's have a little look at some other things. When Jesus speaks of the Lord's Prayer, if you notice, we come second. If you notice that, there are 6 points in there. And the first 3 points refer to the Lord. The second 3 points refer to us. And so, it talks about your name, your kingdom, your will. But then it turns to our bread, our sins, and our deliverance. And then it's sealed with a lovely little finishing off. Yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. We see it all in there. When we go to pray, Jesus says, don't you say my, you say our. Even when you're praying by yourself, you say our, because immediately you incorporate someone else into the prayer time. Our Father. Now there are times when we can be personal. There are times when Jesus said, my Father. But when we come to pray, we are to have that corporate feeling within our heart that it's our Father. And it's all about His name, it's all about His kingdom, and it's all about His will. That doesn't belittle our needs, our bread, our sins, our deliverance. Doesn't belittle that at all. But each thing has its place. And when our prayers center upon ourselves constantly, it will not do our souls good. It will make us more inward when we should be more outward. Well, our old friend is there again. Continuous present tense. He crops up yet again. If you read the Gospel of John, he's constantly using this tense. You know what it says? Whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. That word there, believe, it means whoever keeps believing in him. It's not a one-off. It's a keep believing. Paul, speaking of the Spirit, when he said, be filled with the Spirit, keep being filled with the Spirit. It's not a one-off. And here, when we come, just like we found with mercy, we found that mercy was tied up with truth. Why? Because our acts of mercy are not to be fickle. They are not to be one-offs. They are to be a constancy. And so Jesus gave little instances, well, big instances really, regarding the merciful, that they should obtain mercy. That their mercy would be a constant mercy. As in the oath, it wouldn't just be an oath that would be there and that could be set aside. It would be something that would be constant. And here, that same term is being used. Oh, the bliss of they that keep hungering and keep thirsting after righteousness. When it says in verse 3, when you pray, it's continuous present tense. When you keep praying. See, when he challenges motives, does it mean that we turn around and say, well, I won't do that again then? No, he says, when you keep praying, when you keep giving, in verse 3, when you keep praying in verse 7, and in verse 18, when you keep fasting, it's not a one-off. It's not something, it is a constancy. You keep hungering, you keep thirsting, you keep giving, you keep praying, you keep fasting, all those different things that are listed together. There's a continuance there, there's a constancy there. But the promise is that you shall be filled. That's the promise. Nothing worse, isn't it? That having that carrot dangled in front of you, but you never reach it. Do you think God has that nature about him? Doesn't, does he? He's not like that. The promise is if you keep hungering, if you keep thirsting, you will be filled. Filled with conformity to God. This word filled, when it was first used, in the society of that day, its first occasion of being used was this, being filled as in a fatted calf. Now that's not one meal, that's a lifetime. The fatted calf. It's not just one meal, it's a process. The calf, I don't mean the sense where they stuff corn down the chicken, you know, that horrible way they do it, and with some of the cattle they do it. It's not that. The fatted calf of that day would have their food regularly provided. They would be full. In later days, it came to mean being full at the table, which is a one-off. It meant that you could sit at the table and be filled. I have two friends that I meet up from my office from former days. One lives in Ponty, one lives in Aberdeen. And the boy from Ponty, a lovely Indian friend. And whenever we sit down and we have a curry, we have rice and all the things, he says the same thing every time. I'm stuffed. He says it every time. He's full. And what this word is saying, you can be filled and continue to be filled. And you can continue to be hungry and thirsty. This hungering and thirsting, notice what it does. The motives, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Checking exactly where does your heart lay? Does it lay in the things of this world, or does it treasures in heaven? That your eye is single. That your eye is simple. That your eye is without folds, without creases, without duplicity. That's what that eye means. Single. That is focused on the righteousness of God. Challenging words. Words that really causes us to think, cause me to think. May God give to us a hungry heart. May God give to us a thirsting soul. May God give to us his righteousness. May we be full with that which affects our lives. Oh, the bliss, the sheer happiness of them that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. May God grant to us such thirsting today, that you want to be filled with him more and more. That's time gone.